Money Stacking Empire LLC is dedicated to assisting entrepreneurs start and manage their business or brand. Our motto is entrepreneurs helping entrepreneurs. All entrepreneurs, independent brands, and potential entrepreneurs are welcome. We have several programs for entrepreneurs where they can work with fellow entrepreneurs on various projects. Money Stacking Empire LLC is dedicated to assisting entrepreneurs start and manage their business or brand. Our motto is entrepreneurs helping entrepreneurs. All entrepreneurs, independent brands, and potential entrepreneurs are welcome. We have several programs for entrepreneurs where they can work with fellow entrepreneurs on various projects under our Earn and Learn program. We live stream our members as they build their businesses/brands.
There we go. Hello, hello.
Yeah, again with that weird timer. I gotta figure that out, but I always think about it as we start launch. That I'm just like, all right, I should spend a minute trying to figure out that timer thing. But
I have a alarm on my phone that goes off 6 minutes before it starts, and it's called the set the timer memo.
oh, so funny. But at some point, re-recorded. Yeah, so we'll give it just a couple minutes to let a few more people get in the room. At the moment, we only have a couple. But I was going to change my background for today because, we're past, winter. But we got 6 inches of snow last night. So totally living this snow-covered world.
Yeah, we still have snow on the ground, which for Kansas is like, what?
Yeah, I asked my husband, I'm like, so are we getting a warm up? Is this going to linger? It's going to linger for like 2 weeks. We're going to be in the 20s for 2 weeks. So this isn't going anywhere, which is disappointing. Yeah. Once I get past January, I'm kind of ready for spring. I'm turning this light. Because it's just dreary. January and February are just dreary. Welcome, Alma. Happy Thursday. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Hopefully some more people will join in. This is going to be all about suppliers. And this is actually my favorite launch of the series that we do because I really love talking to agents about which suppliers to use and how to use them. I think it's just my favorite. Just my favorite. Is this your favorite, Becky, or do you like other?
Nope, suppliers is my favorite because I always learn something. I know that sounds silly, but I just am one of those people that I am convinced you can never stop learning. And every time we do this, I learn something new. Or I get the inspiration to try a new supplier.
Yeah, and I also, even like when agents email and they're looking for, where do I find this? Where do I find that? And I start digging into suppliers. When I get in there, I'm like, oh, and they also do this. I didn't know that. So lots to be learned from our suppliers. So today we're going to talk about our supplier list. Gateway has about 123-ish, I'm not sure of the exact count, suppliers, and we cover all areas of travel. Obviously, the most common ones are hotels, resorts, cruise lines, theme parks, fully independent travel, guided tours, and river cruises. That top half of the list there, those are the ones that most of our agents use most of the time.
Yeah.
But beyond that, we also have access to vacation rentals, car rentals, excursion operators for shore excursions off of cruise ships or while you're traveling pretty much anywhere in the world, even in the US. You can find activities and excursions through some of our suppliers. Transfers and transportation services, picking up from the airport and taking you to a resort. But sometimes we have dedicated limo services. We have a lot of other things that are deep in that list. Rail travel, that's one we're getting a lot lately. And we just added a couple of great suppliers for rail travel. Stroller, wheelchair, scooter rentals, ski vacations, bicycling vacations, national parks, are all on our supplier list. And of course, sports travel for major sporting events. We just had the Super Bowl. Man, if only my Detroit Lions had made it to the Super Bowl, I probably could have sold a couple of those luxury Super Bowl packages. They're really cool. That supplier, we're not really going to talk about them much today, but they're called, what are they called? Road Trip. Road Trip has the Olympics. If you ever have a client that wants to go to the Olympics, they'll get the tickets, the resorts, all of the things, special experiences, the Kentucky Derby, the Super Bowl, the NCAA basketball championships, things like that, the Masters. Great fun things to do for your clients. They're kind of high end, but those things are going to be high end anyway. Yes. So getting them through a supplier like this where you know every is pretty darn great. Plus, they do everything for you, that particular supplier. And we have quite a few that do. Take it right out and do all the work for you. And all you have to do is facilitate the relationship between the client and that supplier. So we like to work smarter, not harder. That's so when you can find suppliers like that, that's a great thing. So first, we're going to talk about how we register with our suppliers. Following the instructions in the supplier listing is really important. Make sure you read them, make sure you follow them. Some of our suppliers are going to be self-registered. You will follow those instructions. You'll set yourself up. You may need the IATA or CLIA number or our phone number to get that registration processed. You can email new agent support for those numbers, or we have a new email address that is logins@gatewaytravel.com. That's going to be your primary way to deal with logins and login related items. So I'll need to update this slide. That was one I didn't think of when I was looking through the slides today. I was like, oh, I need to update, and that one I missed. Self-register with Gateway Travel approval. Usually that's Disney, Carnival, Cruising Power. There's a couple of them where we will approve you after you've done the self-registration on your side. You can just let us know via email that you have registered. I would use that logins@gatewaytravel.com for that as well, and say, hey, I registered with Cruising Power, please approve me, and we will get in there and approve you right away. And then sometimes you would need to request login credentials from Gateway. So it might say in that view details area something like reach out to your agent, reach out to logins@gatewaytravel.com to request access. And so you'll send an email to that logins@gatewaytravel.com email address and say, hey, I would love to have access to VAX or Delta Vacations or Sandals Resorts, any of those that fall under that where we have to create that login for you. And then we will do that and send it right back to you. Every supplier does it differently. And in a perfect magical world, we could just give you a list and you could check the ones you want and it would be done for you. But that's not how it works. Everybody has to have their own special way. So we have to follow the supplier rules. But if you do it correctly the first time, it'll save a lot of heartbreak and aggravation.
Please go to the supplier listing every time. Do not ever Google our phone number. Please, pretty please, don't ever Google our phone number.
There is a standalone brick and mortar Gateway Travel in Michigan that formed after us, actually. Yeah. But they do exist. And so a lot of agents have made the mistake of Googling and then they get their phone number and attach it to our account and they end up becoming registered under this other agency, which is unfortunate for that agent because it makes it hard for us to disentangle it. So make sure you do it right the first time, have the right numbers. I have that Gateway phone number and I add a number on a Post-it note right on my computer. And that way, if I call into a supplier and I have to give that information, it's right at my fingertips. And I don't see there's yours too. Post-it notes are magic. Whoever created those.
I love them. Even though I could probably recite it in my sleep. It's still
now I can, but at the time that I stuck that Post-it note there, I did not know it by heart. So
yeah,
anyway, moving on.
It's been there for 10 years.
So we're going to talk about hotels and resorts. There are lots of ways to book hotels, and many agents start with hotel bookings as their first booking. So having access to hotels is important. We have a lot of hotel brands that you can book directly. Marriott, Hilton, IHG, I think it's in the supplier list as Intercontinental Hotel Group. Yes. We abbreviate it to IHG, but if you search IHG, it probably won't come up. It's going to come up under Intercontinental Hotel Group. They own Holiday Inn, among others. Accor, Fairmont, Hyatt, Wyndham, Choice, and Sandals. And then there's other resort brands too that we can book direct. But Hyatt, Wyndham, and Choice are in italics on this list because those three, as much as you can book under all of their brands directly through Hyatt, Wyndham, and Choice, they're terrible about paying their commissions in a timely manner. So you may be waiting 6 to 12 months for commission to come in on a hotel room night. So I would go Marriott, Hilton, IHG first. Those are great brands. They pay promptly. And often you can find a Holiday Inn in the same town where you can find a Wyndham hotel. So given the choice, that's what I would do.
And you can also go through
booking engines, which is the next thing. You can book hotels only, just hotels, all these same brands and others through Vax using FunJet or Travel Impressions or Apple Vacations or Southwest Vacations or United Vacations. FunJet and Travel Impressions have our highest commission, so I always start there. But Apple sometimes has different inventory. Southwest and United also have different inventory. So you can start with those. You can use Vacation Express for resorts and hotels, Classic Vacations, Delta Vacations, Avanti, Pleasant Holidays, and American Airlines Vacations. All have hotels and resorts listed in their booking engines, and you can find them all over the place. And sometimes it's great to not be stuck in one supplier like Vax, but to go ahead and search other ones, because you may find that Delta Vacations has a great deal, especially if bundled with a Delta flight. Or you might find that Vacation Express is offering something great for travel agents, like freebies, which is nights that you can personally earn as an agent on your client's stay. So make sure you're checking out more than one when you're booking hotels and resorts.
I found a great deal on Vacation Express for my client. Had more commission for me. So I was like,
don't you love that?
Yes.
So when you're booking direct, these brands, every brand, Hilton, Marriott, Hyatt, all of those have sub brands under them. So if you've stayed at a Hampton Inn, you stayed at a Hilton property. If you stayed at a Fairfield, that's a Marriott property. Obviously, Holiday Inn is IHG. There's some I would even know under other brands. These lists are here. You'll be able to access these slides after in the event on Facebook, so you can zoom in and see what's actually listed there. The pro have lots of inventory. Booking engines sometimes have limited inventory. All the inventory that's available is going to show on Marriott, Hilton, direct ways. You can reach those smaller geographic areas away from airports and big cities, where Max and other booking engines sometimes can't reach. Usually around airports and maybe cities. So look for something in a little town in the middle of nowhere. You're going to be able to find it probably on Vax. So you can Google the town you're looking for in a hotel brands or just hotels and see what's there. Called Claire's Lake. Over an hour, probably an hour from Lansing would be the closest airport. Nothing's in Claire. Little hotel. So you should be able to book those direct through one of our hotel brands. Sometimes they have the best prices. People who love to use their Hilton Honors or Marriott Bonvoy point earn points, you can use that when you book them, and then you can often hold it with the credit, and they can pay the property when they arrive, just like if they booked it on their own. Some of the cons are things that I mentioned are slow to pay. And you can't package the flights or car rentals, etc., right in that booking engine. This is it when you're booked.
And what we mean by direct is through Hilton, IHG, that kind of stuff. Do not call that hotel directly.
No. Make sure that you look under the supplier list booking procedure, and it's going to direct you to a travel agent exclusive website for each of these brands. So you don't want to go to Marriott.com. You want to go to the Marriott Travel Agent portal. That way you can book, enter gateway IATA number out, and have that mission earned. Cool. If you have any questions on that, you can certainly send them to us. So VAX is one of the first booking engines that agents want access to it. This is a great platform that it's kind of a Swiss Army knife of booking travel. It has theme parks in that it has SeaWorld and Universal on there. It has hotels and resorts. You can get flights on there packaged with your travel. You can do car rentals, excursions. You can do groups. It's a really multifaceted, versatile platform. VAX is the booking engine, however. So once you're inside that booking engine, you need a supplier. The suppliers are the ALG Vacations brands, which are Jet and Travel Impressions and Apple Vacations, Southwest Vacations, United Vacations, and Blue Sky Tours for Hawaii. When you're in there, you're going to need to pick one from the or Universal or SeaWorld, whatever you're looking for in there. Please keep in mind that not everything that's listed is a supplier that we use. So you're going to need to cross against our supplier list to make sure that what you're looking at is something you can actually use. Even though you can book with VAX brand Vax Hotel Only. We provide we like it through FunJet or Travel Impressions. Commissions are better, services better. Vax Hotel Only is kind of not our choice.
It's not our choice, and it has a lower commission percent than if you went with FunJet, Southwest, something like that, or even
Booking Direct.
Yes. Do not use Vax Hotel Only. Not.
It pops up every once in a while. I'll be looking through our bookings, our complex. Who's booking Vax vacations? But I think they don't know. So we're telling you here. Stick to the ones on the G brands, FunJet, Travel Impressions, and you'll better. And there's a lot more inventory there anyway.
Oh yeah.
You can book flights in there within our booking rules, which means they have to be attached to a resort stay. The length of the hotel resort stay needs to match the flight. So what you cannot do is you can't book a flight, stay one hotel, spend 5 days at your friend's house, and then come to the 5th day and call that package.
And we're not going to earn commission on the flights anyway. Plus, you really want your client to have control of flights.
Right. Yeah. We book flights as a courtesy, but not making any money on it. And it's really better for the client to book a recommendation directly. That way they have control over it. If a change needs to be made, if something needs to happen in the moment, you need to go through the agent to get that change made. Yeah. Car rentals and excursions can be added at checkout. All the way at the bottom on the left page, there are ways to add those things. It's kind of convenient if you need to bundle that together. Clients who don't want to pay for different things all over the place would like to have it one, but that's the way. We are limited to properties near airports and or major cities. So keep that in mind. I think when you do hotel only, you can get to some of the smaller cities, but not all. So smaller markets that way, if you're doing hotel only, you might be able to find something in a small town, Tennessee, not small town, a smaller town that may not have an airport, but might be big enough to be populated in Vax. So you do have to do a little digging to find things. Obviously, net travel impressions, highest commissions, I believe they're 15 and 14%. Apple's like 12. A lot of people go to Apple first because it's alphabetically first, but it only pays 12%. So 3% is a lot, especially when you start to add up a little bit here and a little bit there, and all of a sudden it's $100. So if you find it in FunJet or Travel Impressions, I would go that way. Again, we do not use every supplier in Vax. Cross-reference against our suppliers. Classic vacations is another one that I recommend newer agents put on their supplier list. Classic offers hotels, resorts, vacation homes, and villas. They do cater more to luxury brands, especially for the Caribbean and the all-inclusive market, but they can worldwide hotels and unique properties. So I love that you can find really cool places to stay there, more options. Great Wolf Lodge properties, many of them can be found in Classic Vacations. It is a little tricky in their search. What I have found with Classic is that you can find an airport code for the closest airport to where you're trying to go to. Populate that in the search instead of the town name, and you're going to get way more things to list. Even if it's like a municipal airport or regional airport, it doesn't have to be LaGuardia or Dulles. It can be some little,
Small.
Cessna airport or something. As long as it has a 3-letter code identifier, often you can find things that way. But once you figure out how that works, you'll find some really unique properties there. I think it's great. You can add car rest, you can add rules and excursions. And Classic is a company that where you can contact them and say, they're trying to build for my client. They want this and this and this, and Classic will build an itinerary for your client. So that's that FIT, fully independent travel option that Classic has. And that's letting your supplier do the work for you, which is great. Classic is great for Hawaii in that. I've used Classic for Europe. It's a great supplier. It can be a little bit on the pricey side. It's really high. Vacation Express would be the alternate to booking Caribbean all-inclusive resorts through FunJet or Impressions. Vacation Express is a different company, even though they have a similar name, VAX, Vacation Access, and Vacation Express. They are totally different. Express just does all-inclusive and not all-inclusive, but resorts, properties in the Caribbean and Mexico. They added some new properties in the Maldives. They're going to be adding Costa Rica, but primarily it's going to be Caribbean and Mexico. I think they have very competitive pricing, sometimes better pricing. Lots of the great promo that you see out in the world get incorporated in the engine. They pay up to % commission. Every month, they will throw out a list of properties that are going to pay 20% commission. I believe we're at 15 with Vacation Express generally. That list of 20% properties.
You do it, definitely. It's a big difference. And you also have to realize the one thing with vacations is if you call it in, your commission is less. That is one buyers that does that, but I just want to make sure that everyone is aware. Otherwise, I love Vacation Express. They have great customer service. That Facebook group is super active.
Fantastic.
Oh, and they respond. Someone had an issue, they put it in there. One agent responded, and then I don't know what his title is. Commented and said, you know what? I don't think that's good enough. Let's take care of this. And I'm like, wow.
For travel agents, for Express, and they
Yeah.
So if you have an issue with a client, you can put in, my client is in destination. This is their booking number. This is the issue I'm having. An immediate response, as opposed to sometimes set on hold for an hour.
Yep.
It's really responsive and it's really good. They have vacation rewards, free free. I mentioned that before. You can earn that on certain parties. They do great fan trips. They have great promos and marketing. Their marketing part of their website. It's not as informative for what the properties are actually like. So when you're looking at a property, you may need to have a separate window open and be looking at it on their website or something else to find out what the rooms look like, what the property looks like, how big is the pool, things like that. You're not going to get all that detail in Vacation Express, but the benefit there, it's a great booking platform. You can include flights. They also offer charter flights from some cities, especially week and stuff like that. I know since and Philadelphia, and I'm trying to think, Atlanta, I think, had direct flights, charter flights for a really great price to Cancun and to Punta Cana and to Montego Bay. So having access to those charter flights is a great thing.
Oh,
and have excursions that you can add. And things like Club Mo Bay can be added in there for Jamaica. You can get private transfers in there. You can do insurance in there, although we recommend insurance, but they do have insurance in there too. So Vacation Express is a great platform. Sandals Resort and Beaches. I was at beaches. Sandals and Beaches, please be correct. You may see it populate in others as an option. Please do not book that way. Status with Sandals is dependent on us being directly. Plus, our commissions, our service, everything that goes along with Sandals experience is here when you do it direct, and it's here when you other buyers.
Some points to pay. Don't give that away.
Points to paradise. When you book, every dollar your client spend is a point in your bank. And when you have enough points, you can spend free nights for yourself. So after my June clients travel, I'm going to have about 70 points to spend. I'm excited. So take days. There's a booked through handle. It's small. It's like 3 or 4%, something like that. But nobody pays commission on flights, so it's great to get it through. They also have add-ons like wedding packages and excursions through them, and dining things. There's lots of things you can recommend. And the service and support is incredible. We have brand new BDM. Sneeze.
Yeah, sorry.
So I said something you're not gonna. Our new BDM that we're dealing with is fantastic. The trip I was just on, the BAM trip, and man, responsive, great ideas, great promos. Great support. That's what you want in a supplier. Is great.
Yeah.
So definitely have access to Sandals resorts. They advertise a lot, so you don't have to do a lot. You just have to say Sandals. People know what that is because the ads run on TV all the time.
Yep.
You see that for other resort brands much.
No, Sandals is just incredible.
Other options that we have for booking are Delta Vacations and American Airlines Vacations. As the name would suggest, they're affiliated with those airlines. We cannot book flights only through these platforms. Vacations, American Airlines agents, they have to be linked with a hotel or resort property in the same way that would on any other platform. It's a bit lower on the commission side. I think it's around 10%, and they don't have the full range of options they see on Vacation Express and Fund Ed. But clients can incorporate their Delta Sky miles, earn spend points. They do have some exclusive packages and perks. I just booked a Christmas, New Year's trip for a client through Delta Vacations because she's a big Delta person. And it worked well for her. And I had exactly the property we wanted, exactly the price she wanted. It was a great option for her. So when you have those clients who are really loyal to their air brands, you can facilitate that. The same thing is true somewhat between Southwest and United through VAX on these direct platforms. You definitely can put in their loyalty. Yeah. Same thing with the brands, lower commissions, limited options. However, you can use those American Airlines AA Advantage points and earn them, and they all have exclusive packages and perks that they run, like sales and things. So if your clients are loyal to an airline brand, I've done with American Vacation with Delta.
No.
So then a lot of our going to be cruising. So hotels and resorts, cruising, theme parks, Those are kind of the big three of the things that we do. We actually have access to a lot more cruise lines than agents would expect.
Yeah.
We have Royal Caribbean and Celebrity. Those are found in Cruise Hour. Silver Sea. Is it populating in Cruising Power now? I can't remember.
It's
Or is it still
supposed to be, but I haven't checked. Saw the logo there yesterday, but I don't know if it's populating yet.
so that one we might not be able to book quite yet, but it should be coming once they fix their website. I'm going to throw this question up, Heather. How do we find our BDMs are? Often on the website for the supplier, there is contact us or something like that. And then under that category, it breaks down who the BDM is and how you contact them. They're not always up to date. Just pop an email over to us at New Agent Support or Support, either one. And we can connect something that you need. Our BDM them anywhere on our sites because they do tend to, those positions are constantly shifting and moving. And I have to maintain that.
They're
fully.
Constantly changing, and also some suppliers like sandals specifically doesn't by area, not by the host agency. Like with Princess, we have to go through David, I forget his last name, because that's the one through Indiana. But with sandals, it's by region of where you live, not where your host agency is. So if
actually, you can use both. So that we have our new BDM for the Midwest, which is his team of Michelle and Amanda. Also, if you live local, like the person that's local to you can also be BDM partner for you. So I live in Michigan. My sandals BDM is in my town, which is kind of awesome. She's right over where our grocery. So that's really great. And if you have someone local, they'll sometimes have events. They'll be willing to sit down and have coffee with you and talk through things that you need. Maine can be very advantageous. There's a lot of more to that. We're not going to talk about that today, but building relationships with suppliers can help you and help your clients and be a really good thing if you're willing to make the efforts. So that's out there. Back to our cruise line brands. Princess, Holland America, Cunard, and Seabourn are found in one source. Tend to be so Royal Caribbean. Everybody knows Royal Caribbean. They advertise a lot. It's a very family-friendly brand. Lots of fun. Celebrity is a little bit more elevated. It's not adults only. Definitely leans more into the adult crowd than the kid crowd. They do have clubs and things. It's not going to have race tracks and water slides. It's going to have.
It's not going to be Disney where there's kids everywhere.
Right. Silver Sea is a luxury brand. Princess Holland America also kind of skew more traditional sophisticated travelers. Some, especially Holland, is going to skew a little. Cunard is your classic Titanic-like cruise line. Without the icebergs and the sinking, but it's that ocean liner feel with white glove service. Seabourn, again, luxury brand. Than any of the other standard brands. Of course, the Disney affiliated has lots of great theming, a lot of Disney immersion, and it's a great cruise line. It's an expensive cruise line. Carnival is a great cruise line. They're billed as the fun ships. They're a budget cruise line, but lots of fun. And there are many, many people who just love Carnival. They have lots of fun things to do. They have new ships too. I mean, they're not.
Oh, they have some.
They're innovative
out there. Me personally, I would not go on anything on the 7-day, but that is just my thing. I don't mind the party because you could always be on a different part of shit's quiet. It's just I found a 7-day crowd is a lot less than the.
They're not maxing out their drink package. The 3- and 4-day cruises are maxing out their package.
Yes.
MSC is a European cruise line that has some incredible new ships coming. I don't know if you're watching the Super Bowl, but World America is coming, and it's going to be amazing. And here's a little inside. The dueling pianos venue, World America ship. So, and his best friend is going to be debuting that show on the MSC World America when it takes a voyage, March, I believe. And then Colin might be on it in April in a couple weeks. So, super fun.
We may have.
I want to get on that ship. I want to get on that ship. It looks gorgeous. It looks like it has some really incredible features. Their ships in general are very beautiful. The owner of MSC is a woman. MSC is a shipping line, and she's the highest billionaire self-made woman in the world. And she has 4 shipping line ships. Her daughter wanted to have a cruise line. So that is what the MSC cruise line is. It's the daughter ship magnet. And everything is beautiful. Everything is very tasteful and very appealing. But it's not that expensive. You do some very economical options on MSC. And then Build for Yacht Club service, that was like a butler level service. So they have a really nice top tier as well. So lots of cool things there. Been traditional in the industry for a long time. I think they're right in there with similar offerings. Lots of things.
Yeah.
We just did a webinar, so if you didn't get a chance to catch it, I think we'll post a link up and figure out how to put that out so people can see it. but they're updating and doing some really cool new things. Virgin Voyages, it's only no no drink packages. They do like a bar tab. It's really innovative idea, but then the no kids thing people love. Biking is also no kids, but it definitely is a more sophisticated, more luxury crowd than Virgin Voyages. Regent Seven Seas luxury brand, Azamara luxury, smaller ship brand, Oceania luxury, smaller ship brand. Yeah. So all of those cruise lines are available to us through our direct, through shared things like One Source Cruising Power. Many of these are available on Cruise Complete, which is available through Leaders Network, Agent Universe. So when you get your agent profiler set up and approved, then you can get access to Cruising Power. River cruise lines. We have 9. Avalon, Ama Waterways, Emerald, Scenic, Tauk, Uniworld, and Adventures by Disney. Adventures by Disney actually leases ships from Ama Waterways, but that list is going to expand next year. Celebrity is in the mix. Celebrity Cruise Lines is adding river cruising, and so next time I run this supplier presentation, I shift my list a little bit and put celebrity in there as well, which I think is going to be a game changer because it's a really well-known brand, and I think it's going to be great. We also have a bunch of other cruise lines that aren't necessarily listed in this list, but there's ways that you can find them through other suppliers. Inside Pleasant Holidays, you can find American Cruise Line, Victory Cruise Line, Paul Gauguin, Celestial, Captain Cook, Pearl Seas, Iceland Pro, Blue Lagoon, Arani. Ranui? I don't even know how to say that one. No. Some of these are really specialty kind of expedition cruises. American Cruise Line and I believe Victory Cruise Line do American rivers and Great Lakes. Paul Gauguin is kind of a yachting kind of experience, I believe. Captain Cook and Pearl Seas are around Hawaii. And maybe the South Sea, Fiji, Tahiti. Iceland Pro, Iceland. Like I did actually go on their website and look. Wow, I would love to do an Iceland Pro trip. It'd be amazing. It is on my bucket list. Blue Lagoon, Hawaii. And then we have other cruise lines like Windstar. Windstar is a cruise line. It might even belong in that ocean cruise line left side. But they also have sails that are cruise ships. And so it's a really unique offering. It's a luxury brand. Ritz-Carlton yachts. Those are stunning and an elevated experience. And then the ones down here at the bottom, G Adventures, Abercrombie & Ken, Alexander These are actually tour companies. They have in their offerings cruise experience of small ships. Ships might only, 4 people, as opposed to 2,000 on a Royal Caribbean or Carnival cruise. So these small adventures be around there are places where they do tours and things like the Mediterranean, or maybe the Indian Ocean, or maybe Australia, or Galapagos, things like that. So lots and lots of options. So if clients are looking for something outside of that left side column with all the traditional women all know about, you have a huge range of suppliers that have different cruise options if that's something that they want.
And if you need advice or just want a cruise talk shop, we can help you there too. So just reach out to us. Holly and I both, one of our niches is cruising, so please reach out.
Exactly. Other things that we can offer through our supplier list. I'm on these because everybody knows these properties are important for travel agents. Disney parks, Universal Studios, theme parks. Disney parks, obviously we access the travel agent's website. We do not ever book Disney on any other platform, even if you see it on Vax or on another supplier. Don't book that way. Again, our status with Disney is based on us booking directly with Disney, and the way that we can access and make changes and apply discounts and things like that is going to be through the DTA platform. You can access the Walt Disney World and Disneyland properties and do packages that website, also special ticket only. All of that is on that DTA website. You can also access other global properties like Disneyland Paris, like Shanghai. Some of them are commissioned, some of them are not. It depends on the holding company is that works with it. I think Disneyland Paris is, but Tokyo is not.
It's not. Yeah.
So you have to call those in. If you go to that website, the Disney Travel Agent's website, and scroll all the way bottom, keep scrolling. Way at the bottom, there's a little icon that says all Disney properties. You click on that. It doesn't come up in the drop down at the top, which is dumb, but I understand why. But way at the bottom, click on other Disney properties. It's going to direct you how to each of those other properties that are global, if you have clients who are interested. We can, and sometimes it's just us facilitating it and not getting paid. But for Tokyo, you could maybe book their hotels or other excursions, just not their Disney. Universal Studios. Universal is accessed through Vax, and that is the booking platform for Universal. It works for both Universal Studios in Florida and in Hollywood. Those properties ticket only, with room all of that's going to be done through the platform. Global Universal properties can also be accessed, but you have to call in. Same kind of deal. Disney may or may not be commissionable. It may depend on where it's located and who the holding company is. Cool. We also have access to theme parks like SeaWorld, Busch Gardens, Legoland, Discovery Cove, Great Wolf Lodge properties, Sesame Place. All those are in various forms. Legoland, I believe you booked direct. Great Wolf Lodge, as we already mentioned. Many of the properties can be found in Classic. I don't think every single one is there, but a lot of them are. The rest of them are through Max. We do not have park tickets for things like Six Flags or Dollywood, unfortunately. But they don't work with agents. And really, I mean, to think of being travel agency as being a store. Not every store that you carries every single product in the world. We carry what we can carry, and things we can do for clients. So we try to do as much as we can for them. But if they're asking for to Cedar Point or Six Flags, that's not something we can do. But we can help them with their hotels. Do a car rental. We can do all kinds of other things that would help that trip. It's not the park tickets themselves. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Fully independent travel. In addition to hotels and resorts, cruise lines, and theme parks, the next level of booking travel is more independent. These are tours, excursions. People want to go Yellowstone, or they want to go to Europe, or they want to go to Italy. Is in Europe, but more specific. Anyway, we have a lot of different suppliers that can do that for you. FunJet and Travel Impressions inside VAX can reach global properties. A lot of people think they're really just for the or but there's stuff all over the world. So if you needed to put together a package for a client that included air, that did hotels, maybe some excursions, car rentals, things like that, you can do it all in FunJet and Travel Impressions. My first choice for Europe probably can be a budget-friendly option. A good place to start if you're brand new. Tours, which we just added in the last couple months, fully independent travel and private travel. They'll do every component individually, flights, hotels, tours, all of it. and pack together for you and for your client. Europe Express does that for Europe. Classic that globally. Pleasant holidays, pretty much globally. Europe is another option where you add that rail piece for your client if you're putting together something in budget or travel impressions and they don't offer rail, you need to get a train from Berlin to Paris or something. You can add Europe. Viator and Project Expedition are suppliers that do excursions and activities. So you can find and transfers through there too. So you can package fully independent travel, different components from different places. You can go back and use those hotel and resort booking options we talked about earlier. You could do the things to put together a package for your client. Guided tours and planned itineraries. A lot of times people don't want to think about putting together all the pieces. It all set out for them, which is great. Many do exactly that. Suppliers that allow your clients to just pick an itinerary, a date that works best for them among the choices. It's bundled together. It's a lot of stuff. Often it includes meals, accommodations, and transportation, and all of that bundled into one. And that's a great way to sell travel. Express that we talked about for fit travel also has tours and planned itineraries. Globus is a huge company with a big global foot almost everywhere. Cosmos is their brand that falls under Globus that has only options. It's still Globus, but it's their like kind of stripped down options. Intrepid is geared towards younger travelers, like the 18 to 35 crowd, although not exclusively. But they do have a lot of tours, which is great and a great price point. Alexander Roberts, Kensington, G Adventures, Adventures by Disney. Journeys is the tour brand of Pleasant Holidays. So if you have a Pleasant Holiday, you also have one for Journeys. Avanti, CIE, which is primarily Ireland, but they also do Italy now and Iceland, I believe, but British Isles. Abercrombie and Kent, Scepter, and Rail Bookers. Rail Bookers affiliated with Amtrak. You could also do stuff in the US on Amtrak. Rail Bookers does train trips. Like you could do the Orient Express or the Caledonian that does the Harry Potter route through Britain. Lots of really cool options on Rail Bookers. All of those are available as the type of supplier you would look into if you had someone who was asking about, I want to do a trip to Italy. I want to do a trip to Egypt. I want want to do a trip to across Canada. Lots of great options in those different companies. If you need specifics, email us. We put you towards the ones that are going to help you the most. But it's also a good idea to spend time on a Sunday afternoon just going through the supplier list. Open up the supplier, see what they offer. If it's not of interest to you, I mean, if it's like TD and you don't have a client go to TD, then don't register with that company. But if it's something that you think you might use, check them out and see. And it's good to have in your wheel. Good to have options. Especially ahead of time. I at one time talked to me in church and asked me if I could do a tour to Machu Picchu in Peru. And I smiled and said, sure, yeah, of course. And then I home and dug into the supplier list. I'd never done that before. I'd done for me, and so I have no idea what I'm gonna do. I adventures, very cool tour that had hiking, the Incan Trail, camping. Totally not the kind of travel I like, but zone. And when I came back with a proposal, she had met somebody in my between our initial conversation and me getting back to her and said, oh, they just did this itinerary with this company and loved it. And it was like, oh, I win. So like, train on the fly and do a course in their product, and hope it's good. But if you can get ahead of the game a little bit, and you can have a couple of companies in your wheelhouse, that would be great. Globus, huge footprint. That would be a great one to have, because they go everywhere. And then maybe Europe Express. If you were just going to have a couple of those to start with, and if you want a third one, you have Monty. But there are lots of options. If you have younger clients, if you're in your 20s or 30s, maybe NG Adventures would be the best one for you. If you have families, maybe doing on Adventures by Disney would be great, and no offer. So lots of options. Really can meet almost every need. Companies like Abercrombie and Kent offer private guided safaris and things like that. I mean, there's just every level, and it's really cool to have options available to us. Vacation rentals is something that we get asked about often, and usually it comes in the form of a Facebook post that says, "Can we book Airbnb and Vrbo?" We cannot book Airbnb and Vrbo because we do not work with travel agents, and it's a good thing because they don't do near the vetting or investigation of properties that the companies we do work with do.
Exactly. The reliability is just not there for Airbnb and Verbo.
I have friends, my husband's business partner, they booked a Verbo for spring break last year in the Gulf Coast somewhere, Alabama maybe, I'm not sure. And they were driving from Michigan on break, going to this rental property that they'd secured Verbo. They got to Tennessee and got an email. Their property had been canceled. Explanation, they just got a refund. And here they are, almost, halfway to their destination, stay.
Yep.
And nothing they could do about it. They just had to scramble and find something else. That does not happen with our properties.
Nope.
So even though they may cost a little bit more than Airbnb and Verbo, they've been vetted, they're guaranteed, they're backed by a reputable company. Top Villas has global properties, so you can find things in places other than vacation destinations around here. You can find them. If your clients wanted to stay at Villa in Tuscany, Top Villa, I'd do it. Classic Vacations has Villa. You can just select that. There's a little box. You can Villa vacation rentals and just hit that. The Haven Collection, huge number of properties there, and a broad range of prices, which are great. FunJet and Travel Impressions do have vacation properties in some markets. So how you'll find those in that search engine is I usually just max up the number of guests. So I think what you could do in there is, even though I might have a group of 20, but max it out at 8 guests,
Open up.
and then scroll way to the bottom. All those vacation properties are going to be at the bottom. And how many they hold and what their policies are, things like that. I've seen cabins in Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg area in there. I've seen some vacation homes along the coast and other places. So there, you just kind of dig for them. But if you're desperate, use all 5. Search all 5 and see what options you can find up with. And a pleasant holiday. It has essentially getting paid, a little bit for the work you're doing, but as much as like a resort or a cruise.
Yep.
Does anybody questions about suppliers? Obviously, we did not cover all 120 on our list, but I think we gave a broad overview of what's in there and how to find it. If you need something specific, reach out to us. We will help you find it. But it's good to really have a working knowledge of that supplier list. Make you more efficient if you know on your own and you question on Saturday night and we don't get back to you on Monday morning. You lose time. But if you can figure it out on your own, that's really, really helpful. So be empowered. One of the things that we don't do, and this is one of the things that agents ask for all the time, and they've had to learn how to figure out is they'll say, I want, my client wants Green Valley Inn in this city, in this place. Can we book that? Okay. I just gave you all the different ways that we book hotels. So digging those different booking engines is going to help you to find where that property is. Being creative in how you search. Knowing that even though it's not on our supplier list directly, does not mean that we can't book it. It just means that we can't go to that property. Literally thousands and thousands of hotels and resorts in the world. We cannot have a direct relationship with every single one, which is why we use booking engines, which is why we use major brands like Marriott and Hilton. You find that a little hotel in some little town might actually fall under Hilton or IHG. So you might be able to book that way. Even if it's not a brand you recognize the name.
And once you find, once well, Google it and search the reviews are good and things like that. Do a little research there, and then that, because typically that's my situation where it does I want somewhere in Greenville, Alabama. Then I Googling, and then I start finding a supplier that fits. It's goes hand in hand. Guys, it works.
Yep. But just because it's not listed, that particular one, our 120 suppliers, does not mean you can't book it. It means it's not going to be a direct book. It's going to be in some supplier. You cannot just go on some hotel or resort or supplier website and input the IATA number and book something. If it's not listed in our supplier relationship with that supplier, so you would need to, and if it can't be booked another way, find a different and offer your client an alternative. That client and take care of their need. Like a store, things that we don't have access to. Sometimes it's we don't have access to it yet. I assume we're going to be adding more suppliers in the future. And the industry is always dynamic and it's always changing. We've had suppliers come on our supplier list and fall off our supplier list for various reasons over the years. So one of those things that's constantly change. But don't assume that just because at the bottom of their website it says travel agent, enter your IATA number, that means you can book it that way. It's very risky because if we don't have a relationship with that property, you may or may not get paid.
And probably not.
And probably not. Because they don't know us. They travel and they, we don't have a relationship there. We don't have any recourse. They decide not to pay your commission. So
supplier listing is also going to be your main source.
Yes.
10 years 10 years, and I still will always have the supplier listing pulled up.
Yes. And there's, I forget, I mean, we have so many, sometimes I have to go back in and verify.
Yeah.
Was that property gonna be in this? Oh, she's not there. All right, I'm gonna look somewhere else.
Or if I have to call, if I have what information is needed, what if they need if it's the old phone, or if it's the current one, what they need for me when I call.
Yep. So once you get a handle on it, it gets you a promise. It really does. But I don't want to say be right. Do it right the first time, and then you won't have to untangle things later. That's the best way to book travel, because you don't want to make mistakes that would impact your clients either. I mean, of course, we all want to get paid. That's why we do what we do. But you also don't want to make a mistake that would impact your clients,
Well,
because that would.
You don't want to look unprofessional either. And when you're making things like that, it does not look good. So
Exactly.
take that at a time. Get to your supplier listing, like Holly said, before the weekend. Get those requests done on Friday before 5 o'clock, so everything to do the training. Because honestly, I'm still doing training. Everybody's training.
Yep. It's one of those things is the industry is always changing, and we're always having different needs. So I have not trained every single. There are some I'll never use, to be honest. Not everything is in there for everybody. Did I ever book a Abercrombie and vacation? I will. So that's just not who my clients are. So a jet thing, probably not happen for me. But I've seen agents use it. I've seen agents ask for it. It just depends on who your clients are and what their needs are. But having a good working knowledge of a range of, so that when your client calls and says, "Can you get me to Machu Picchu?" you can say yes confidently, and you know exactly where to go to find it.
That's right.
And that's the trick. Yes. All right. Well, next week we are going to be talking about marketing. Marketing is a question that comes up often. So excited to dive into that. If you have any questions related to this topic, to suppliers, feel free to call us at newagents@gatewaytravel.com. I'm going to run the banner.
And no logins, which is awesome. That's a great way. That's a great email to getting done. That we're not worried about which agency contact. I love it.
Me too. And that's because that's a direct line to just doing logins. It should be more. So that'll be great. Also, a reminder while we have you, on our Facebook pages that our CM and New Agent Travel Portal is ready So those of you who are not already, a lot of you are because you joined since January, before January 1st. What did we say? February. I'm just wishing for
February. February
27th
yeah.
and 28th. All of the content in the old travel agent portal is going to be transferred to the new portal. Keep in mind that that's coming, so you're prepared for it, that you have data that you need portal before it shuts down. Because once it shuts down,
It's done.
So everything's supposed to transfer. So if you have any notes or anything in there, sure, on that kind of stuff. So we'll get some clarification on that, but just make copies of things.
We are asking on setting up a meetup, like a virtual meetup agent. So I'm excited about that. So we should be releasing that soon. Fun things are coming.
Growth is amazing. All right, have a great one. Reach out to us if you have any questions, and for those of you above Ohio, stay dry, lots of snow.
It's even in Kansas, so it's below. We have ridiculous. Maybe I'll change my background to some spring just to kind of help us.
Something to help with us bring forward.
Yeah,
Good.
I need something. We were joking last night during that groundhog.
I know, terrible. We just had another comment. Thanks, ladies. Okay, thanks. We'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.